Greetings, Sophisticated Intuition here. Welcome back, and thank you for joining me. Today's subject is self love and the true meaning of it. With the world's climate, I thought it was necessary to kind of share some enlightenment on the term self love and how it can assist you down your journey through the spiritual path. First, I want to say there's a lot of commotion going on outside. It's summertime, the children are playing, so you may hear that in the background. Forgive me, and please don't allow that to distract you from the message as always. So, self love, I see all the time the hashtag self love next to an image of a woman at a spa or a salon, or a gentleman, in the barber chair getting his hair edged up. And as important as it is for us to keep up on our physical appearances and pamper ourselves, that is not the true meaning of self love. Self love is taking a look at our good, our bad, our light, our shadow, our yin and yang, and balancing the energies of our masculinity and femininity. Self love is the mirror, okay? It is the reflection of yourself. I'll be looking down at my notes quite a bit because I had so much like just flood me in a matter of moments. My creative wheel has been on a spin in the last week or so. So things are just like downloading really quickly. And I had to jot it all down and try to keep it organized so I can articulate it as best as possible for you all. So forgive me if I'm not looking at the camera a lot today because I want to make sure that I don't miss any points. But Lao Tzu said in the Tao Te Ching, when everyone in the world sees beauty, then ugly exists. When everyone sees good, then bad exists. Therefore, what is and what is not create each other. Difficult and easy complement each other. Tall and short shape each other. High and low rest on each other. Voice and tone blend with each other. First and last follow each other. So it's necessary to have both light and dark. Self love is about getting to know yourself, the good, the bad, the indifferent, looking at your scars, not your external scars, which is a great example. However, if you have physical scarring, then you know that you have to learn how to accept that part about yourself and be confident, right? So it's very similar. It looking into your internal scars, and we all have them, okay? But it's about accepting all of it and finding that balance, okay? Even in wedding vows, we have to express, or we have to acknowledge that if we accept a union, that we're going to have to be in partnership with someone who may have good days and bad days. The vows are to accept. Do you? I haven't taken them, but what is it? Do you? Promise to love this person for better or for worse, or something to that effect, right? So it's right there. It's indicated that within you is like this, good angel and bad angel, one on each shoulder, and there's some days where one is going to outweigh the other. So it's just evident that the two concepts require each other in order to exist. My best example of this in my own journey is going back to transcending my ego. So, like when everything's going well in my life and I feel like I'm on a really high vibration, I tend to get like very boastful and, feeling myself, I'm the woman, or I'm the man. Sometimes, I listen to a lot of trap music at that time. I tend to operate more in my masculine energy. And since I've been on this path to enlightenment, I've learned to recognize when I'm going from confident to cocky, okay? And just remind myself that, one, get out of that energy, okay? But not that I'm insignificant, but that I'm a small piece of this universe, of this collective, and that my accomplishments or my ascension is meant to lift or elevate others, not just myself. Okay. One thing that I do, so being very transparent here, it's been about 12 years since I qualified for the Nutritional Assistance Program, which is EBT or food stamps. I don't know what they call it across the nation, but EBT in Arizona. So where I'm at. Okay. But it's been about 12 years since I qualified. But I held on to the card, and for a long time, I would put it in whatever purse I was carrying, as a reminder of where I've come from, and that I could go back there at any time. I'm a minimalist now, so I don't carry my purse everywhere I go, but there's a purse that I keep it in, just so that I can go back there and look at it every now and then, just to keep me grounded. Okay. On the other side of that spectrum is when I'm in a low vibration, or in the past when I was in a low vibration, I would get into this woe is me mentality, and why is this always happening to me, right? May not miss anything here, but I learned to accept those moments, or one, bring myself through the practices of mindfulness, bring myself back into the present moment, and learn to be grateful for the things that I have, and just be centered in that fact. And then also to accept that whatever I'm experiencing in that moment is a lesson and meant for my ascension. Okay, it's necessary for me to go through those unfortunate circumstances in order for me to ascend. Okay. So overall, the takeaway from that example is, when you're on your high horse, don't forget how you got up there. Okay. So there are many adjectives and ideals to describe love. And for so long, I thought, or I believed, that love was an action. Okay. I've now come into an awareness that love is, or the act of being love is what love is. Okay. So I'm going to take us into the scripture. The scripture reads, "And we have known and believed love that God hath to us." God is love, and wait, let me take it. Let me slow that down just 1 second. What I said is, what the word said is, God is love. He is love, being love. Okay? So God is love, and he that dwelleth in love dwelleth in God, and God in him. Herein is our love made perfect, that we may have boldness in the day of judgment, because as he is, so are we in the world. So the instruction here is to be love. Okay? Be love. That came from 1 John 4:16 through 17, for those who need the reference. Before I close out, I know, very short here, but before I close out, in terms of self-love, to keep myself accountable, I've been doing these exercises for about the last 2 years, and probably since we've been going through all we've been going through, I haven't been as consistent with some of my practices, but so I created a spreadsheet to keep myself accountable, and I shared this on my Facebook. So shout out to all my Facebook friends and family that are watching. But I wanted to share it here as well, because I know that there are others that may not go to my Facebook. But it just keeps me accountable, and I'm not sharing the details of the content that I take, because my shadow is my shadow, your shadow is your shadow, and you know what's going to work for you. You may have to, trial and error, and find those things that work best for you. But this is what I do on a weekly basis, to try to stay consistent for my both mind, body, and spiritual wellness. So Sundays are about miracle manifestations and setting weekly intentions, and yoga, where I focus on flexibility. Okay. Um, Mondays are mindfulness meditation, so that can be very specific to like flow, being in the present moment, things of that nature. That's usually a day where Tao Te Ching is running in the background somewhere. 30 to 60 minutes of new knowledge. So, take an opportunity to learn something new, whether it's a YouTuber, or going out to Barnes and Nobles or your local library and picking up some new reading material, whatever it may be, new information. And then a workout routine. So I won't share it, the steps of that for every day, but Monday, it's 30 crunches, 30 sit-ups, 30 arm curls, 30 lunges, 10 push-ups, and then a 30-minute run or walk. Now that's going to vary. If you've got something on your mind, you might be running or walking a lot longer. It just all depends on what you have access to. On Tuesdays is yoga again, where I focus on the core, okay, and strengthening my core. And then that's also transformation meditation or twin flame meditation. So I want to talk about that a little bit, because I know people are like, what is that? Especially if you're not watching the other content that I release here on YouTube. You may not be familiar with the connection of a twin flame. A twin flame is not a soulmate. It's one person. It's your mirror. It's your mirror. And it is the idea that the two of you have split when you came into the physical realm with a mission or a purpose. Okay. If you are so blessed to come into union with your twin flame, you will learn that that is one of the most powerful and passionate and indescribable experiences that you will ever have. And it is, whether you are in union or in separation, it is very important to still take time out to meditate on that connection, because that connection is meant for higher purposes. It is meant to help you eclipse out your shadow and serve your true life purpose here in the physical realm. So it's not necessarily about romance. If you are so blessed to be able to be in union and have that beautiful romance, because it's not anything that you will ever experience ever with anyone, okay? But if you have the luxury of being in that romantic union as well, then you will also find that it is very complicated and may take you through the most, okay? But it is necessary to meditate on that connection, whether you are in union or in separation, because the sole purpose of that is for you to ascend to your higher self and lend yourself to the collective through your ascension, okay? That day, Tuesdays are also for me decompressing or grounding activities. So I may take a bubble bath, I may go on a nature walk or hike, I may just veg out on some TV programming. It's just really a time to like mindless activity, okay? Wednesdays are for Bible and ancient studies. So it's really, really, really important with the work that I do, the light work that I do, to connect to my ancestors and things like that nature. So I take time out on Wednesdays for that. And then I return to my workout. So with the 30 crunches, 30 sit-ups, 30 arm curls, 30 lunges, 10 push-ups, and a 30-minute walk or run. Thursdays, we go back to yoga, and that I focus on endurance, okay? And then tea and reading. So I do tea and reading all the time. And a lot of this stuff can vary on the days as well. But Thursdays are dedicated to just sitting down with a physical book, light my incense, and have whatever tea I desire, and do some reading. Usually what follows, because that very mindful activity usually gets my creative juices flowing, or my thoughts start to, maybe the monkey mind even comes in. So I start to journal. Okay, so Thursdays are usually dedicated for those activities. Friday, I rest from my meditations and a lot of my spiritual work, with the exception of the light work that I do. For those of you who know that I do the intuitive readings, that's every day. That's any day. If anyone needs me, I'm always open for that. But on Friday, I just kind of try to rest a little bit from the meditations and just kind of do me. That's when trap music is blaring. Okay, the shadow is allowed to exist on Friday. Saturdays, I return to meditation, doing sacred meditations, and so that's my time to commune with God, my spirit guides, and the angels, and just that is very necessary for the work that I do. So that's Saturdays, and then I do my workout. Okay. That is, my schedule is a little bit different. I don't have, for my 9 to 5, I don't have a Monday through Friday schedule. So that's why it allows me to do some of these things on some of those weekdays. So you would need to apply it to however it fits to your life. But those are just some exercises and practices that you can do to keep yourself, to love yourself first. Okay. Very huge on that. It's made a huge impact on my life, and being consciously aware of how to promote and benefit from the fact of loving my first. And it lifts you to a higher vibration, which in turn will attract love to you. Okay. So that is my message. Love and light.